And it's interesting because when you spoke about Yuri Bezmenov, he mentioned that step number 1 is to control the youth, right? It's to control or subvert an entire generation. That takes 15 to 20 years. So you need to infiltrate the education system. And that's a discussion I've had before. I don't, at least my time in school, and I think it was probably the same with you, your time in school, right? I went to a French school most of my life, and I'm sure it's the same in an English school. But there was absolutely no courses or education or time spent on understanding, for example, the Charter of Rights and Freedom of Canada at all, or the Canadian Constitution. Now, this is the cornerstone of our society. This needs to be guarded. And the thing too is this, we think, oh, because laws are written on a piece of paper, or like laws are there, it's going to protect you. No, laws are nothing more than words on a piece of fucking paper. They mean nothing without an institution behind it defending it. And an institution is comprised, I should say, not compromised. Sometimes it is both. It is comprised of individuals. So if the individual is not aware and not competent, but responsible enough and courageous enough to uphold those laws, then in the end, we have no laws, we have no rights, we have no protection, no constitution. And it's so easy to infringe and to step and to sidestep your constitutional rights if the citizen do not even know they exist to begin with. I bet you if we went in the streets and we took anyone from grade 10 all the way to a doctorate level post-grad student, or even just an adult, and you stopped them and said, can you name me 3 chartered rights? They would not be able to name a fucking single one aside from, they'll say something like freedom of speech, which is not even a freedom in our chartered rights. We have freedom of expression, which is, in my mind, worse because expression and speech, 2 different things. So, or you tell them what is Article 1 of the Charter, and they don't even know it. And that's basically the article that gives the right to the government to just trample your freaking rights to begin with. People are not aware. Same thing with the economics or finance or the economic system. People are not taught anything about taxes. And this is a theory I've had. This is an idea. Like if I was to become prime minister, which I would never because I'm unelectable, but
vote for Elliot.
Fuck, man. But let's
the far right.
Yeah, the far right. I'm a fucking Nazi. But let's play the first thing I would do actually to help, because to this very day, so many people exhibit Stockholm syndrome. They will defend the system to the death, saying it's okay to be taxed and it's right and it's good for people. And most of these
frog in boiling water.
Yeah, and most of these people, anyways. Like I was arguing with this guy, and he's just like, I'm happy to live in a system that at least gives you free healthcare. I'm like, yeah, it's easy to say that when you don't have to pay taxes because you're on the freaking welfare. But anyways, so here's my solution for fixing the brutal. First, government deficit that we have, and 2, crazy taxes. Because the reality is to cut down the deficit, we need to shrink the size of the government. Because the government, a quarter of the population works for the government, which is really unpopular to do because, most people are not going to vote against their own. It's funny because it's their self-interest for the country, but their short-term self-interest is keeping their job. But there's a way to turn 75% of the population against those and to allow the population to say, no, fuck it. You're going to lose your job. You're going to find a way to to make yourself up again, and we're going to shrink this shit. This is what we do. Next year, whenever it's time to file your taxes, what we do is that we actually make it for an entire year. Taxes are 0. There's no source deduction, right? You as an employer, me as an employer, whenever we pay our employees, we do not deduct a single penny of income tax. We do not deduct a single Quebec pension plan or Canadian pension plan or Quebec parental insurance plan or employment insurance or, these are all the deductions we had to take, right? You keep 100% of your money. But next tax season, the government calculates how much it's spent for the entire year, and then proportionally, and this is easier to do with computers, proportionally on the income that you've declared, you receive a tax bill and you must pay. You got 30 days. Let's see people now rebel, get up, pitchfork, go down the fucking street and protest.
You're about to get arrested, bro.
People would take to the streets in a heartbeat. Imagine you earned, and I'm going to take a cool 100K, which is not even that much nowadays, but still a cool 100K. You kept 100K in your pocket. You lived the entire year on 100K. And then at the end of the year, the government sends you a nice fat bill for your share of the expenditures.
Of the public spending.
Yes. And by the way, may I add, the entire share of the public spending. No taking on debt. It's a balanced budget. It's a zero-sum game. There's a good chance you receive a $70,000, a $75,000, an $80,000 bill if they cannot borrow against it, by the way. I bet you overnight people would ask for reform. Overnight, it would say shrink the size of the government. Overnight, we would go through every line item in the Canadian budget and say, done. DEI, done. Fucking sending money to Ukraine, done. Fucking hiring a quarter of the population to tweedle their fucking thumb and stick a thumb up their ass, done. Overnight.
Clever way to think about it.
We're done.
Thank you for sharing that.
There you go. Saved Canada. Saved Canada. No, it would never happen, obviously.
No.